Welcome to part 3. You made it. We are in the home stretch. We're going to learn all about Azure management and governance, so stay locked in. This section explores the management and governance resources available to help you manage your cloud and on-premises resources. In this section, you will be introduced to the factors that impact costs in Azure and the tools to help you both predict potential costs and monitor and control costs. Let's dive right into the cost management objective domain. Let's talk about some of the factors that influences cost within Azure. A number of factors influence the cost of Azure resources. The type of resources, the settings for resources, and Azure region will have an impact on how much resources cost. When you provision an Azure resource, Azure creates a meter instances for that resource. That meter tracks the resource usage and generate a usage bill that is used to calculate your bill. Consumption, pay as you go, has been a consistent theme throughout, and that's the cloud payment model, where you pay for the resources that you can use during a billing cycle. If you use more this cycle, you pay more. If you use less, you pay less. It's straightforward pricing mechanism that allows you maximum flexibility. Maintenance. The flexibility of the cloud makes it possible to rapidly adjust your resource based on demand. Using resource groups can help all of your resources stay organized. In order to control costs, it's more important to maintain your cloud environment. For example, every time you provision a VM, an additional resource such as storage and networking are also provisioned. Additionally, geography can play an important role in affecting costs. When you provision more resources in Azure, you need to define a region where the resource deploys. Azure infrastructure is distributed globally, which enables you to deploy your services centrally or the closest to your customers or something in between. Next is network traffic. Billing zones are factors in determining the cost of some Azure services. Bandwidth refers to the data moving in and out of Azure data centers. Some inbound data transfers are free. For outbound data transfers, data leaving Azure data center, data transfer pricing is based on zones. A zone is a geographical grouping of Azure regions for billing purposes. The bandwidth pricing page has additional information on pricing for data ingress and egress and transfer. Subscription types. Some Azure subscription types also include usage allowance, which affects costs. For example, an Azure free trial subscription provides access to a number of Azure products that are free for 12 months. It also includes credits to spend within the first 30 days of sign-up. You'll get access to more than 25 products that are always free based on resource and region availability. Azure Marketplace lets you purchase Azure-based solutions and services from third-party vendors. This could be a server with server pre-installed and configured or managed service, network firewall appliances, or connectors to third-party backup services. When you purchase products from Azure Marketplace, you may pay for not only the Azure services that you're using, but also the services or expertise of the third-party vendor. Billing structures are set up by a vendor. All solutions available in Azure Marketplace are certified and compliant with Azure policies and standards. The certification policies may vary based on the service, solution type, or Azure service involved. If you want to know more about this, go check out the commercial marketplace policies, because it goes in detail about the Azure Marketplace certifications. The pricing calculator is exactly what the name indicates. It's designed to give you an estimate cost for provisioning resources in Azure. You can get an estimate for individual resources, build out solutions, or use example scenarios to see an estimate of the Azure spend. The pricing calculator focus is on the cost provision resources in Azure. The TCO calculator is designed to help you compare the cost of running an on-premises infrastructure compared to an Azure cloud infrastructure. With a TCO calculator, you enter your current infrastructure configuration, including servers, database, storage, and outbound network traffic. The TCO calculator then compares the anticipated cost for your current environment with Azure environment supporting the same infrastructure requirements. With the TCO calculator, you enter your configuration, add in assumptions like power and IT labor costs, and are presented with an estimation of the cost difference to run the same environment in your current data center or on Azure. It's a great place if you're on the fence about still moving to the cloud. This is a good way to give an understanding of what the potential cost could be with moving your data center or your environment into Microsoft Azure. Another cool tool you need to take a look at is Azure Cost Management. You get access to your reporting, billing, the different data that you see in there. So a lot of data that you can take a look at to help you make decisions about your current infrastructure. You can set spending budgets, which is good as, just again, prepping for the potential cost of making that switch and what's inside your environment, and learning you when you can set different limits. That's what I like too. So sometimes in an environment, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to spend more on my demo environment than $20 this month. So if I get close to $15, let me know and let me go do some configuration because I don't want to go over my demo account. And then also gives you recommendation after learning your environment to say, hey, Sly, you don't really use this storage that much. Maybe you want to consider going to a lower tier and this will save you X amount of dollars. So definitely take a look at the cost management solution. It's pretty cool. As your cloud usage grows, it's increasingly important to stay organized. A good organization strategy helps you understand your cloud usage and can help you manage costs. One way to organize related resources is to place them in their own subscription. You can also use resource groups to manage related resources. Resource tags are another way to organize your resources. Tags provide extra information or metadata about your resources, and this metadata is useful for resource management. Tags enable you to locate and act on resources that are associated with specific workloads, environments, business units, and owners. Cost management and optimization. Tags enable you to group resources so that you can report on costs, allocate internal cost centers, and track budgets and forecast estimated costs. Operational management. Tags are great so you can group resources according to how critical their availability is to your business. This grouping can help formulate service level agreements, SLAs, if you don't know what that is. An SLA is a uptime or performance guaranteed for you and your users or you and your customers. Security. Tags enable you to classify data by security levels such as public or confidential. Governance, regulatory compliance. Tags are available to identify resources aligned by the regulatory compliance, such as ISO, PCI, so on and so forth. Tags can be a part of your standards enforcement efforts. So you might require your team to tag all your resources by the owner name and the department name, right? So then you could say, all right, Sly, you are using X amount of dollars. I know because I tagged all your resources. How about, right now we're going through a recession. I need to trim that down by 20%. Here's your list of your resources. Go get that done, right? Those are some things you could do. The last thing I talk about that's also beneficial for using tags is workload optimization and automation. Tags can help you visualize all the resources that participate in the complex deployments. So I like to visualize things, right? To give you examples. You might tag a resource with its associated workloads and application name and use Azure DevOps to perform automated tasks on those resources.